Okay, so we're going to be creating an optical illusion. You have a choice board in front of you, so that means you get to pick and choose. The first column is going to be your optical illusion. I'm going to show first the square box, then I'll show how to do the circle, and then the fabric illusion. Okay, I'm not going to go through step by step on how to do the cities. You can kind of pick and choose which city that you're going to place inside your little window section, where there's the fabric section right here, or the circle here, or the square box on your step-by-step of the cities. Okay, so first thing you're gonna do, if we're doing the square box, you're gonna wanna have a ruler. You'll want to have a pencil. I'm gonna use a Sharpie just so that you can see it. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm going to create a square. So I'm gonna take my Sharpie. I'm creating a horizontal line. I'm going to then make sure I have a nice straight line for my square. And I want it fairly big because I want it to be my window where I'm going to place my city. Okay, so I'm taking, and it can be more of a rectangle than a square, that's fine. Square or rectangle, it depends on how well you have it. Okay, and it's a little bit rectangle-ish, and that's fine. So first thing you do is create your square or rectangle. Make sure it's big enough that you can put your city into it. Then I take, and I'm going to make a diagonal line right at the corner. So I'm looking at this corner, and I'm looking at the corner of my paper. I place my ruler so that they connect. So I made my first line. I'm going to then take this corner. I'm going to find the corner here and the corner of my paper, and I'm going to take that line. Okay, so now I have my floor. I'm going to do the sides of my walls. Now you don't have to go all the way to the corners on this one. You can kind of just eyeball how you want to make your diagonal line. You're placing your ruler, and we're starting right here at this one corner here. I've got a nice diagonal, and I place it here, and then I can take and get another diagonal right here by my corner, and I get my line. So now I have my optical illusion like it's a room. Now, when we're making our little checkerboard areas, you'll notice on the choice board, I've not made them really small. We're only going to have about 2 lines going on here. So I'm gonna take my ruler, where it's going vertical, on this wall space, and I'm going 1. So that's my very first one. And then I'm going right here, and I want to bring it down. I have to move my ruler a little bit. 2. So 1, 2. Then, here's the cool thing about this, we just match the line. So I have this line right here. I click here. I'm bringing a horizontal line. I look right here. I match the line. Okay. And then I'm going to keep going around the box. So I look where my line is right here. And I can always kind of, if I'm not seeing it well enough, move my ruler to where I can see it a little bit better. So I know where my trapezoid space is going to be. And I bring my line up. Okay. And then I'm going to go right here, keeping it nice and straight. Bringing my line up. Then I'm going to look right here, and I'm matching the lines. Even if it is slightly crooked, it will still create that optical illusion. Like, see how this is kind of going at a little bit of a diagonal? It doesn't have to be perfect, okay? So now I have 3. This one's a little bit bigger, so I could add, if I wanted to, another one right here. So I have a 3rd, like you're seeing a little bit more of the ceiling area. Then I want to make it have a checkerboard, okay? Just like the choice board, notice it's not a whole bunch. It's only going to be 2 lines, just 2. I'm going from an imaginary dot in the center of my window. And then I'm going to start to create 1. I'm going to keep that kind of imaginary dot. And I'm going to make 2. So 1, 2 lines. I'm keeping kind of that little imaginary line. Right there, that dot. Doesn't have to be perfect. 1. And then I'm going to move it over here to this imaginary dot right here in the center. And 2. So 1, 2. I'm going to do that over here. That imaginary dot. Right in the center. 1. Moving my ruler, keeping it on that imaginary dot. 2. And it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? Keeping that imaginary dot. 1. And then, right up here, imaginary dot. 2. Okay? After that, if you want to make it like a checkerboard, you can start to color in your squares. My suggestion, not with the Sharpie, but with your Crayola markers, just because the Crayola markers tips are a lot bigger than the Sharpies, and it will be a lot faster for you to color it in if you are using the Crayola. Okay, so, and if your Crayola is running out, we did get some more Crayolas. So notice I'm using the side. To color that. Okay, so now I have my optical illusion finished. Once I've done that, I can think about my window. I can choose to make a frame for my window. So if I'm making a frame for my window, I'll take my ruler. I can choose whether I'm gonna have one of those like T-shaped frames on it, or I can keep it like this. So now I have my frame. I just sit there and I think about what city do I want to do. I want to have it where it's looking like it is looking out onto Paris. And I start to create the Eiffel Tower. And this is something you probably definitely want to do with your pencils. Because Paris was known for their hot air balloons. Paris is the one that made hot air balloons really big. This is the only part that we color in, and we're coloring those in with watercolors, okay? So we've gone over our steps. So choice board, so this one I did the square, Then we picked our city. I did Paris, and I put it in there. And then you color it in with watercolors right here. This part will stay black and white. So it's giving its movement, repetition, and it is showing emphasis because we have our city right here.